through the story of a strong-willed princess named Merida in Pixar's film Brave. The screenwriters seek to satirize the very sexism that their parent company, Disney, was arguably most responsible for perpetuating in 20th century American culture. The film overtly mocks Queen Eleanor's efforts to discipline her daughter's body in ways described in Sandra Lee Barkey's Foucault, Femininity, and the Modernization of Patriarchal Power. Eleanor notices a plate of cookies in front of Merida and starts in with a subtly shaming, "Hungry, aren't we?" and then tries to enlist her husband's support of the plea, "Oh, Fergus, will you look at your daughter's plate?" To which he reasonably replies, "So what?" This recalls the survey taken by UCLA, wherein 27.8% of women like Eleanor, and in contrast, a mere 5.8% of men, said they were, quote, terrified of getting fat. In the moment that follows, Merida relinquishes the cookies to her brothers and never eats a single bite, a disquieting nod to, quote, anorexia nervosa, the crystallization of a widespread cultural obsession, end quote. Later, Merida is made a sacrificial offering to patriarchy, a child bride for the heirs of this family's neighboring clans to win, thus further consolidating their power through her sexual exploitation. As Eleanor prepares this offering, Merida cries out in pain as her naturally curly hair is ripped out by a brush and her body is compressed by a corset. Her mother's evaluation of her after, that she looks perfect, is contrasted by Merida's chilling plea for loosening the corset because she literally can't breathe.
I can't breathe. Perfect. 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 I can't breathe.
These moments take aim at sexism but ultimately miss their target because, as feminist theorist Bell Hooks states in her book Femininity is for Everyone, a true source of sexism, sexual exploitation, and oppression would not be an individual's choice to be a pushy mother, but actually patriarchy, institutionalized sexism. As Merida stands before her, unable to breathe, Eleanor regards her daughter with a sudden, unguarded sadness. "Merida," she starts, and the audience is given the distinct impression that the queen is about to revolt to show compassion. But she shakes her head, ridding it of these dangerous feminist ideas, and finishes, "Remember to smile," recalling Bartkey's scathing explanation that if women are unable to suppress strong emotions, even those caused by physical pain, they can at least learn to inhibit the tendency of the face to register them. The majority of the film unwittingly exposes the true antagonist of this story: traditional, hierarchical gender roles. Eleanor is characterized as having power over a husband and king in her first line of the poem, Fergus, "no weapons on the table," rendering her an unsympathetic, rigid matriarch. Fergus, a gargantuan man wielding spear, sword, and bow, gives their little girl her very own bow, arrow, and a first archery lesson. These gifts would signify, or seem to, that this father king is eschewing gender stereotypes, but this gets complicated. With a chide of "a bow, Fergus, she's a lady," Eleanor's true role emerges: guardian of domestic and feminine decorum. Fergus reacts to this admonition by pinching his wife's buttock and laughing at her surprise, thus subtly introducing the audience to the idea that he is more sensible, she more silly. This recalls Hooke's assertion that patriarchal masculinity teaches men that their sense of self and identity resides in their capacity to dominate others. This hierarchical contrast is immediately exaggerated by a bear attack, in which Eleanor and Merida can only obey Fergus's command to flee, while he stands up against the beast, highlighting his role as not only a guardian of sense and reason, but of life itself. Later, when Merida places her bow upon the dinner table, Eleanor, upholding her sad little authority on what should and should not be put on tables, and on what a woman should and should not do, declares, Merida, a princess does not place her weapons on the table. A princess should not have weapons, in my opinion. In contrast, Fergus interjects, leave her be. Princess or not, learning to fight is essential, thus reinforcing his authority to command his wife, to declare supersalient truths, and to protect life. In gross irony, the seeming source of this princess's oppression is her mother, relegating the film's only female leader to the role of a conflicted but ultimately culpable scapegoat. Screenwriters portray her as secretly longing to rescue her daughter from patriarchy, but neglect to deal with why she is powerless to do so. Meanwhile, Fergus, the character with the actual power to free his wife and daughter from this torturous and oppressive dynamic and lead his people to feminist justice, spends the film eating, drinking, fighting, laughing, and wondering why these women are so upset all the time.